The Rules Committee will come to order. Before we begin, I just want to briefly touch on the horrific attack targeting one of our colleagues and her family that occurred a couple of weeks ago. My family and I were sickened to hear that someone had broken into Speaker Pelosi's home with the intention of attacking her and violently assaulted her husband, Paul Pelosi. Thankfully, it sounds like Paul is on the road to recovery despite several major injuries, and our continued prayers and support go out to him, Speaker Pelosi, and their entire family. I can't believe I have to say this, but we find ourselves in a time where it must be said violence like this brutal attack is always wrong. It doesn't matter who the perpetrator or victim is, there is no room for it. And we all must recognize what contributes to an attack of this kind: lies, conspiracy theories that call for violence, and we need to take every single threat seriously. And those of us who find ourselves on this dais as leaders, we have a responsibility to tame dangerous and extremist political rhetoric that inspires people to commit such acts of terror. And I want to thank my colleagues who used their platform over the last few weeks to condemn the attack and ask that we in the Rules Committee become a model for America, both now and in the future, for civility. And even though we sometimes are a place where there's a lot of contention, I do think that, and I credit this to my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, and I thank our ranking member, Mr. Cole, I do appreciate the civility in this committee, and I think, you know, when I compare it to some of the other committees, I think we are, in many respects, a model. So with that said, let's dive into today's business. This afternoon, our committee will consider S-4524, the Speak Out Act. Non-disclosure agreements, or NDAs, are used to protect sensitive company information when an employee leaves their job. However, over the last several decades, NDAs are becoming more regularly used to silence workplace sexual assault or harassment survivors. That's unacceptable. The bipartisan bicameral Speak Out Act prohibits pre-dispute NDAs in cases where sexual harassment or sexual assault has been alleged in violation of federal, tribal, or state law. The Speak Out Act passed the Senate under unanimous consent, and I hope it passes the House with similar margins. Finally, we will also hear a motion to report to the House a new report that my office has put together entitled Ending Hunger in America: Challenges, Opportunities, and the Political Will to Succeed. Look, America is a land of abundance, yet hidden in plain sight is the shadow of hunger. Tens of millions of our fellow Americans, including a shocking number of children, do not know where the next meal will come from. Over the last 2 years as chairman of the Rules Committee, I have used my position to convene hearings, roundtables, site visits, discussions, interviews, and more to give voice to those who do not have enough food. The result is this record of innovative solutions from across the nation that built the support for and directly informed the White House Conference on Hunger, Nutrition, and Health that took place this past September. I fervently hope that the findings within this report can be used alongside the Biden-Harris administration's new strategy on hunger, nutrition, and health to find solutions that work, to not just manage hunger, but to ensure that food is a fundamental human right for every single American. And before I yield to my ranking member, Mr. Cole, for any remarks he wishes to make, I should have begun by saying, welcome back, everybody. It's good to see you. And now I'll yield to Mr. Cole.